Fulham 3, Liverpool 2. A defensive disaster class from the Reds. Hey guys, I'm back to the channel. Welcome to another video. Today's video is going to be an instant match reaction to Liverpool's 3-2 defeat at the hands of Fulham. It now means that Arsenal have officially closed the gap on the Reds to 11 points at the top of the table. Of course, the pressure is a little bit off Liverpool. You still would expect Liverpool to go on and win the Premier League from this point forward. But it might take a little bit longer after what was a truly horrendous defensive display from the Reds, especially in the first half. Liverpool took the lead through Alexis McAllister, but 3 goals in 12 minutes for Fulham flipped the script entirely. Luis Diaz managed to grab a goal back in the second half to at least try to make things a little interesting, but the damage was already done and Fulham held on for the 3 points. We're going to be talking about what was a horrendous display by Liverpool, what went wrong for the Reds, and everything else in between. But before we get any further in discussing all of that and much more, I would like to remind you all to please like the video and also subscribe if you are new. Both things will always and forever be greatly appreciated. Get involved in the comment section below. Let me know your thoughts, your comments, opinions, predictions, feelings, whatever you want to call it, that I'm sure will make for great and interesting reading down below. Use and abuse that comment section, people, and talk to me on Liverpool's performance and result today. And without further ado, we'll get into the conversation ourselves. We're going to be talking Liverpool, the performance, the result, and everything else in between. Just truly horrendous. Just truly horrendous. No matter which way you decide to dress it up, no matter what angle you take from this, it was an abysmal display by Arne Slot's men. So frustrating, a very good opportunity to go 14 points clear at the top of the table, go that one step further to securing the Premier League glory that we are anticipating this season, and yet we don't show up. We didn't show up at all. Even in the first half. The only good thing about the first half was Alexis McAllister's wonder goal. An absolute fantastic goal by McAllister was the only thing that was good about that first half. Otherwise, there were mistakes aplenty. There were just so many defensive errors. We couldn't pass the ball from A to B. We couldn't break out of the press. Fulham wanted it more. It was another poor display. Another poor display. Lacking creativity, lacking any composure, and just panic at the back. Just panic at the back. And it truly was terrible. It truly was terrible. Look, we can dress it up as like, yes, we're still 11 points clear. Yes, we should still go on and secure the Premier League title from this point forward. But at the same time, we can still be frustrated at what was a dreadful performance overall. We didn't deserve anything from the game. Fulham were deservedly winners. But what I will say is that even though they wanted it more, even though they were deservedly the victors of the game, we shot ourselves in the foot so many times in that game. All 3 of the goals that Fulham scored were not great goals. With as much respect in the world that I can give Fulham for what was a great display, they were 3 very poor goals to concede. All of them had defensive errors in them from Liverpool. And they were just goals that were so easily preventable. But we were the makers of our own downfall. We were absolutely abysmal from a defensive point of view. Look, let's say McAllister gets the ball rolling. A fantastic strike from outside the area. 1-0 Liverpool. And then it's almost like we're on hangover settings. We were like, right, that's it, game done and dusted. And then we've made mistake after mistake after mistake after mistake. We were so lackluster, so lethargic, so casual in the way that we built up play, or attempted to build up play, because we didn't actually build up anything. We were so poor when it came to passing, and every single time, those were the kind of mistakes. Mistakes of not closing the ball down. Mistakes of not pressing when we needed to. And then, of course, the goal comes. The equaliser comes from Ryan Sessegnon. cross goes in. It's blocked by Curtis Jones. It's not dealt with. No one's picking up Sessegnon whatsoever. He's got a clear strike on goal, and he takes full advantage of that. On Wednesday night, we saw Everton have a couple of good opportunities in the first half against us. Luckily for one of them, Beto was marginally offside for his goal that was chalked off, and then the second one, he hit the post. Thought we would have learnt, but no. Across the back four, we were absolutely dreadful. From right back, the makeshift right back of Curtis Jones, our two centre backs that are normally so imperious and so strong were weak and were just so casual in the way that they approached the game that they took their eye off the ball completely. And our left back, least said about Andy Robertson the better as far as what I'm concerned. I'm so done with Andy Robertson in general. But the warning signs were there even before they equalised. Ibrahima Konate being way too casual with the ball in his own penalty area. Loses the ball, he tries to do a little spin to get himself out of danger. He messes it up completely. Andreas Pereira goes down under the challenge of Keeman Kelleher. We're probably very fortunate that that was not a penalty. I was thinking that was a penalty. We were extremely fortunate that it wasn't. It was deemed as just a coming together in the penalty area, which begs the question, if that was a coming together in the penalty area, why was the Miles Lewis-Skelly incident yesterday given as a penalty? I talked more about that earlier in a previous video. So the warning signs were there, and yet we didn't do anything to book up our ideas. We didn't do anything to just try and relieve some of the pressure, give us some respite. Instead, we kept on playing so dangerously and so casually that eventually it came back to bite us. Ryan Sessegnon gets the equaliser, and then a few minutes later, Alex Iwobi scores Fulham's second to put them ahead. Again, poor play from Andy Robertson. Gives the ball away so casually in a poor area, and then Iwobi tries a shot, it's blocked, falls down to Robertson, doesn't get the ball away properly, gives it straight back to Alex Iwobi, strike on goal, deflected off Robertson, into the back of the net. Just dreadful defending all round. Easily preventable goals. I've said time and time again this season, this team gives away stupid goals. And we did it again today. Not once, not twice, but then 3 times. 3 times we gave away a stupid goal. Muniz, however you want to pronounce it. Rodrigo Muniz. This is how you say his name. Anyway, he gets the third Fulham goal. Comes from a corner. It's cleared. Iwobi with a complete miscue of a kick. But it fortuitously lands in the path of Muniz, who gets the better of Virgil van Dijk. Van Dijk's got to do better. Again, it's lackadaisical and it's casual from Virgil van Dijk. It just gets brushed aside by Muniz, who takes the ball really well, and then it's a fantastic finish. No doubt, I'm not taking away from the finish, but again, easily preventable considering it was a miscue of a kick from Iwobi and just casual defending from Van Dijk again. Didn't need to happen. Just needed to be professional. Just needed to be strong. One of the words I used so much in the pre-match predictions video that I did was that we just need to be professional about this now. And we were not professional. Our midfield couldn't beat the press. Our midfield were left out there to drown, and they had absolutely no answer to Fulham's press. Our attack had nothing. I forgot that Cody Gakpo was even playing in that first half. He was non-existent. Diogo Jota had nothing to feed off in that first half. And the least said about Mohamed Salah, the better. He got in no position to try and even hurt Fulham at all. Fair play to Fulham for executing their game plan very, very well. But ultimately, we needed to do better. We needed to be more professional. We needed to be more disciplined. And we were not that. We were not any of that. Second half, we make some early changes. I'm surprised that those changes didn't happen at half time, but eventually, about 10 minutes into the second half, we did. We looked a lot better when Harvey Elliott came on. In my opinion, had a bit of energy about us, a bit of, and of course Luis Diaz as well, had a bit more energy about us, had a bit more of a point to prove in the second half. Fulham tried to protect what they had. We were in the ascendancy in terms of possession at least, but still Fulham looked dangerous on the counter-attack. We throw on a few more faces. We bring on Darwin Núñez, we bring on Federico Chiesa, who actually was allowed to play today. And then we get the goal back. Luis Diaz, very well taken goal. Fair play. 3-2. We set up an interesting finale. Harvey Elliott hits the crossbar. But apart from that, there was very little from us to actually penetrate the back line of Fulham, to actually scare that we were going to get back on level terms. And Fulham held out for the victory. A big victory at that for them, because of course they are still in the hunt for European football. So a massive win for Marco Silva's side. But ultimately, a very disappointing loss for Liverpool, who have lost for the first time in 26 games in the Premier League since, of course, they lost to Nottingham Forest very early on in the campaign. So that will sting a little bit for Liverpool. But ultimately, it's what they deserved. They deserve that defeat. They deserve to lose this game. They can have no complaints. And, you know, the biggest culprits of the day, mainly the defence, mainly the midfield, mainly the likes of Gakpo and Salah, had very little. Jota, very little from him either. It was a dreadful performance all round. And if I am to say that there is only a handful of players that maybe can hold their heads up high, McAllister with a wonderful strike, like I mentioned, to open the scoring. Harvey Elliott did well when he came on, I felt. Luis Diaz looked lively when he came on. Chiesa, again, looks hungry. And it goes back to somewhat what I've been saying these past few games. Where's the rotation? Where is the rotation from Arne Slot? I don't get this whole, I'm only using these 11 players or these 12 players for my starting 11 week in, week out. I thought it was a bit strange that Diaz didn't start, given the fact that he actually played very well on Wednesday night and was our man of the match. A little bit surprised by that, in all honesty. But the fact that we're not seeing any rotation in a midfield that is clearly crying out for something different. The fact that our defensive options are so slim. We're playing Curtis Jones as a makeshift right back. Connor Bradley looked good when he came on, by the way, as well. Like, so glad to see him back, and fingers crossed he can remain fit till the end of the season. Our lack of defensive options is poor. The left-back situation, I've mentioned time and time again. It doesn't matter whether you play Robertson or Tsimikas. They're both as poor as each other. That was proven again today by Robertson being poor. Tsimikas not even getting on the pitch. It was a dreadful performance all round. And that defeat, you could argue, Premier League-wise at the very least, was a long time in the making. It was a very good opportunity to go 14 points clear. A very good opportunity to speed up securing the Premier League title. And we let it slip through our fingers. We had nothing in this game. We had nothing. We relied on a brilliant piece of individual play from Alexis McAllister. And then, of course, we had the influence of our substitutes, which looked fresh, which looked lively. And I'm pleading for Arne Slot to change things going forward. For our next game, change it up. I think we've got West Ham on Sunday, I believe. Saturday or Sunday. I want to say it's Sunday. Change things up. Change things up. I'm begging you. I'm begging you to start Chiesa. I'm begging you to start Harvey Elliott. I'm begging you. Please. Because this team is drowning right now. And they really are. They really, really are. Another dreadful first half display. And I think the only reason why we looked better in the second half was because we gained a bit more control, because Fulham just let us have the ball. They were very, very much prepared to sit back and see out the game with what they had. And fair play to them. Because we very rarely threatened. Like I say, the goal in the second half aside, apart from Harvey Elliott hitting the crossbar and I think Bernd Leno being forced into a decent stop to deny Chiesa, we had nothing. We had nothing going forward. Despite the fact that we had all the possession, all the opportunity to, but the final ball wasn't good enough. Our creativity lacked. It was just a poor performance all round from the Reds. And one that I say can improve somewhat, in my opinion, if we are to trust in some of these backup players going forward. Like I say, West Ham next week, get back to winning ways. But for me, in order to do that, we need to trust in our squad more. Trust in our squad more. If we're lacking creativity, Harvey Elliott is a good answer to that, in my opinion. I've been calling out for that for so often this season. And yet, for whatever reason, Slot does not trust him. Been calling out for Chiesa. Someone with a bit of energy about him. Someone with a bit of work rate about him. Bit of hunger there to maybe prove a point. Not to be trusted by Slot, it seems. Thank God Connor Bradley's back. Love that. But, like I say, the ones that started today, and especially the defensive line, just the second-guessing nature of everything that they tried to do. Just the panic, the worry, the casualness, the lethargicness. Everything about it was dreadful today from the Reds. Look, we move on. Hopefully this is a blip. Hopefully this is a one-off result. Hopefully we go on and secure the Premier League title from this point onwards. We should do. But things need to change. Things definitely need to change. And I'm hoping that everybody is taking note of this. Because it's not just what needs to change for the immediate future in terms of personnel on the pitch, but it's about our future and how our future looks like in the upcoming summer transfer window as well. Some of these players are going to go. Some of these players are not good enough. Some of these players are out of favour with Arne Slot. Shows you what we need right now. Shows you what we're going to need in the future when some of these players do exit out of the door this summer. Look, those are just the thoughts, comments, opinions, predictions, feelings, whatever you want to call it, of this guy. I want to know what you guys think. What do you make of Liverpool's performance and result today? Hit that comment section, people, and talk to me on everything and anything to do with Liverpool today and the title race and the performance, the result, whatever it may be that just played out against Fulham. Otherwise, hit the like button on the way out if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe if you are new or want to see more content like this. Both things will always and forever be greatly appreciated. Thank you all so much for watching and listening. Thank you all for your continued or brand new support to the channel. It is very much appreciated by me. Will never be taken for granted. And you guys are absolutely awesome. So thank you all so much for that. I've been Fletch. This has been another Fletch Talks video. I'll see you all again soon in another video or live stream or whatever it may be. Cheers guys. Thanks everyone for watching. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your day. Speak to you again very soon.